Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Action News 5 digital desk on a Monday. It's March 9th, and we begin with some breaking news that I want to show you here. This is from our MDOT traffic camera, I-55, where this has been an issue for hours now. This is I-55 northbound. There was a shooting that left one person dead. This shooting happened on I-55 earlier this morning in South Haven. This is near the Church Road exit. According to investigators, people inside two vehicles were firing at each other on the interstate. One person pronounced dead on scene. It's still unclear exactly what role that person played in the incident. The Mississippi Department of Transportation is on scene. As you can see, a number of different police officers are there as well. All southbound lanes of I-55 shut down still, as you can see here. Again, live pictures from the Action News 5 digital desk here. This is a live image that we are watching as investigators continue to figure out exactly what happened here. This is an issue that is expected to certainly cause some delays on I-55. Anyone with information is asked to contact the South Haven Police Department. But again, right now, the Mississippi Department of Transportation says all southbound lanes or I-55 are shut down. Drivers should expect major delays in this area. It is an issue that we are following this morning, and certainly it is an issue that we will be following throughout the afternoon here on Action News 5. But this is I-55 north at Way Station exit here that we continue to follow on this Monday morning, where traffic is certainly going slowly on the northbound lanes, and on the southbound lanes it is shut down. There is no traffic as police continue to gather clues and evidence on this deadly shooting that took place several hours ago on Interstate 55. Again, investigators said that there were people in two different vehicles firing at each other. One person dead. Again, unclear exactly how everything played out, but a number of different agencies are on scene there. As you can see, police, a number of different troopers there. MDOT also on the scene as they continue to investigate this breaking news story of a deadly interstate shooting on I-55. Again, southbound lanes are closed. Northbound lanes are running very, very slowly. We'll continue to follow this throughout the morning, bring you updates as they happen. Other news that we are following at this hour: severe weather certainly made an impact Saturday morning across Memphis and the Mid-South. One person found dead, a woman in her home as storms rolled through. Firefighters responded to this home on Given Avenue in the North Holmes area around 10:30 Saturday morning. This is near Binghamton in the city of Memphis. When they arrived, they found a tree fell in a house and the woman was dead on scene. It is something that we are continuing to following this morning. International news right now, and what we understand, the second son of Iran's slain supreme leader has apparently been named as his replacement. Al-Khamenei was killed in U.S. and Israeli strikes last month. Now his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has been chosen to take his place. A panel of Shiite clerics responsible for selecting the top leader released a statement confirming the decision. His Mojtaba's wife was also among those killed in the same blast that killed his father. As a result of the conflict in the Middle East, crude oil prices are at their highest level in more than 2 years. In Tennessee, gas prices jumped 32 cents in 1 week. Nationally, prices are at their highest level. U.S. Labor Department report shows the economy in February lost 92,000 jobs. Unemployment rate is still very low, but it ticked up a little bit at 4.4%. The gas price spike will be short-term and should come back down. That's according to what President Trump told CNN. Let's talk about spring break for a minute. Memphis International expects 90,000 people to pass through TSA during the spring break travel period. It's a 2-week period. Kicked off this past Friday, goes through March 16th. Airport leaders expect March 15th to be the peak day with more than 10,000 people passing through the checkpoint each day. They always recommend drivers arrive at least 2 hours before departure. Remember, there's a $45 fee for travelers who do not have a real ID. In Mississippi, state leaders pitching a temporary solution to fear the bare shelves at liquor stores. This follows the shipment delays happening at the Alcoholic Beverage Control Warehouse. Now the bill heads to the Senate for approval. The House passed the Emergency Alcohol Distribution Act, which allows licensed liquor stores to buy alcohol directly from manufacturers. Legislatures hope that it means stability when it comes to finding your favorite beverage on the shelves. Some lawmakers say the state should get out of the alcohol business altogether. The Shelby County Commission is expected to vote on a new commissioner this afternoon to fill Edmund Ford Jr.'s vacant seat. You may remember Ford resigned following a federal tax evasion plea deal. 9 candidates interviewed for the position: Rod Blunt, Keyshawn Pearson, James Harvey, Rashida Jones, Jonathan Lewis, Patrice Robinson, Matthew Shalai, Dr. Sharon Webb, and Adriana Williams. An applicant must get 7 votes from the commission in order to be chosen for this seat. The Germantown Board of Mayor and Aldermen will review the full tax increment financing, or TIF, package to help pay for the redevelopment of the Care 4 at Kirby Woods. Developers are pushing into Phase 2, adding retail, apartments, office space, hospitality to the site. The $14.5 million package awaits approval. Meeting is tonight, 6 o'clock. It's at Germantown City Hall. All right, let's talk about Memphis Shelby County Schools. They're extending its deadline for the school choice transfers this Friday. This comes after the school board voted to close 5 schools: Lucy Elementary, Fraser Corning Elementary, Georgian Hills Elementary, Ida B. Wells Academy, and Chickasaw Whittle. Those schools' choice process allows students to attend a different school than the one they are zoned for. Tennessee Valley Authority appointed a native Memphian, Mitch Graves, as the next TVA board chair. Graves has been a member of the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water Board for almost 10 years, including roles as chairman and the interim CEO. He's currently the CEO of West Cancer Clinic and Research Institute. He has 30 years of experience in healthcare leadership. His term is set to expire in May of 2029. About 150 workers at Blue Oval SK plant in Stanton, Tennessee, losing their jobs as the partnership between Ford Motor Company and SK expires. Blue Oval SK is the battery manufacturing side of Blue Oval City. The company announced last December they're moving to build gas trucks instead of electric. Production expected to start in 2029. Employees will keep their pay and benefits for 60 days as the company prepares to transition to a new operation. Grizzlies on the road for 2 road games. First one up, the Brooklyn Nets. That game tip-off is set for tonight, 6 o'clock in Brooklyn. And the Memphis Tiger season is still alive following a 96-95 overtime victory over Tulane. The Tigers advance to the AAC tournament. They keep their chances of alive of making the NCAA tournament. They won in overtime. Now Memphis is going to have to win 5 games in 5 days in order to make the NCAA tournament. They'll rematch Tulane on Wednesday. Special congratulations out to the Briarcrest boys basketball team. They're winners of the state championship. Second one last 3 years. They won 62-52 over John Paul, led by Fred Smith, who capped off his high school career, 18 points, 13 rebounds. Olive Branch girls, they also won a state championship. The girls basketball team beat Neshoba 58-57 in Jackson. Olive Branch has their 5th state championship in school history, the first one since 2021. And the Braves, more Braves baseball for free. Spring training games on the Mid-South Sports and Entertainment Network, digital channel 5.3. You can catch the Braves taking on the Twins today at noon. It's free on the Mid-South Sports and Entertainment Network, channel 5.3 or channel 907 on Xfinity. We're going to take a short break here. We're back here on Action News 5's Digital Desk in 1 minute. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are so looking forward to spring, at least I am, and one of the ways we can get involved in spring is to check out various exhibits, and one is upcoming at Memphis Botanic Garden, and to talk more about that, we have Jenna Harris on the line here, Memphis Botanic Garden, and it is called Bloom. And Jenna, I can't wait to hear about it. I don't know what I want more. Do I want spring more, or do I want to go to Bloom more? Good morning.
I think we all want a little bit of both. We're ready
yeah.
for that spring. We got a little taste of it, and going back to this cold, not what we need.
No question about it. So I remember talking to Olivia a short time ago about this Bloom exhibit. And remind me, is this the first time it's ever been at Botanic Garden?
So it's interesting. This is the first time that we are going to really celebrate all of that together as one. Of course, we're the Botanic Garden. We bloom every year. Some years when you come in the spring, you'll see some fun exhibits. If you were here last year, you saw the trolls. If you came and saw the Alice exhibit, the origami. So we'll bring in different exhibits to kind of highlight and enhance the garden. And this year, we're just going to let the garden speak for itself with some help from our horticulture team. We've been able to really enhance what we have here, our plantings at the garden, and we're going to celebrate all things bloom. So the month of March, we're going to celebrate our cherry blossoms. Everybody's familiar with Cherry Road. You drive down and you feel like you're driving through clouds of cherry trees when those are in full bloom. And we have those in our Japanese garden as well. So that'll be our celebration for March. For April, we've planted over 400,000 tulips. So the Dixon is celebrating their 50th anniversary. They've planted a lot of tulips as well. So between the two gardens, there'll be 1 million tulips at Park and Cherry. So that is just going to be a spectacular month. And, we hope that the tulips bloom on time for our schedule, but they might come a little earlier. But again, we're going to be celebrating blooms this whole time, and then we'll roll right into May, and we'll celebrate some of our southern favorites, the magnolia trees, the azaleas, the rose garden peaks in May. So we'll really just be able to celebrate all things bloom and everything that happens in the spring at a garden.
That sounds amazing. I am so looking forward to spring this year. I think it was because all the snow and ice in January just lingered and went on and on and on. And not to mention that it was pretty cold this morning getting up. I'm like, when are we getting to spring already? So, Jenna, let's talk about ways that people can really get into bloom, what they can do. I guess, we can just show up March 1st, March 2nd. We just show up there at Cherry and Park?
Yeah, so it's always nice to come out and see the garden kind of as things begin to bloom and as things transition. Right now we've already seen some of our blooms with our daffodils and the okami cherry trees, which are the darker pink trees that we have on our property. Those are already starting to bloom out. But we're really going to highlight all of these things on Bloom Saturdays. So every Saturday from March through the end of May, we'll have different celebrations. We'll have food trucks out here. There'll be cocktail bars. You'll be able to come through. And we're working with a lot of different cultural partners. The University of Memphis, Playhouse on the Square, Ballet Memphis, the Symphony. And we'll have different programs every Saturday throughout this whole spring exhibit. So you'll get to see things like the ballet performing amongst the blooms. You'll get to see, learn about Japanese culture with the University of Memphis Japanese language program. And every Saturday is going to be a little bit different. So, if you want to come and learn about a tea ceremony, that's going to be the second Saturday of March for us. You can come in April, and we'll have the Easter Bunny here on the Saturday before Easter, along with Craig Thompson, who's a local chalk artist, doing all kinds of fun spring activities with kids. So, you can come through, explore, and enjoy the blooms, but there's going to be ways to engage with the garden as well.
It sounds great. I mean, your programming 365 days of the year really sounds fantastic, Jenna. Anything else we can touch on, perhaps the website where people can get information about Bloom?
Yeah, for all of our programs, all of the different programs that we're having, you'll go to membg.org and you can go to the Bloom link. That'll give you all the information about all of these Saturday activities, in addition to all of the other programming that we'll have. We'll have all kinds of special events throughout the season, from our plant sale to a petals and parasols, which is kind of a Regency era tea that we'll have. So there's all kinds of different events and programs, and make sure you check those out. Some of the different cultural partners, because we're working with so many different groups, most of them will be at 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock on those Bloom Saturdays, but make sure you check our social media. That'll give you the exact details of what time the different cultural partners will be participating and performing at the events. And the food trucks and the cocktails, that'll be here and available during our opening time between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. The garden is, again, open to explore. Come enjoy the blooms, then go enjoy my big backyard and play with the kids. And just come out. You can come out multiple times throughout the season, and you're always going to see something a little bit different.
One of the prettiest places throughout Memphis and the Mid-South, the Memphis Botanic Garden. We appreciate your time, Jenna. Thank you so much, and we look forward to checking out all the blooms throughout the garden, the Dixon, throughout March, April, and May. Appreciate your time.
All right. We can't wait to see.
Have you seen St. Denis Medical? It airs Monday nights at 8 o'clock on NBC. And this is a mockumentary about an underfunded, understaffed Oregon hospital where the dedicated doctors and nurses try their best to treat patients while maintaining their own sanity. Joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined by a couple of actors on the show. You know them as Serena and Matt. I'm joined by let's see, we got Mei Ki Leeper and Kayun Kim. Good morning to you both. Tell us, how are you both doing this morning?
Doing really well.
Doing really good.
Yeah, happy to be here at the Digital Desk.
Yes, I love it. I feel the same way. I'm happy you guys are here on the Digital Desk too. So you guys are entering season 3 here. For someone, and I gave a little brief introduction off the top, but for someone who's never seen St. Denis Medical, how would you describe it?
Very good show.
Very good show.
So
Truly the fastest way is The Office, but in a hospital. This is the crude fast way. But yeah, it's a really fun show about doctors and nurses that is not scary and stressful to watch. It's fun and it's light, and we're having a blast.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned The Office, and so what I understand, it's from the creators of The Office and Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah, it's from some of the same producers, some of the same writers. Justin Spitzer, of course, creator of Superstore and Office writer. Actually wrote on Scrubs even back in the day. Spitzer's been around.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are cute. I love it. You guys are funny, and you're selling it. So I appreciate it. For someone who's never watched and maybe they just don't have time, or it's like Mondays at 8 o'clock, I'm doing this and that, and all that. What would you say to them? How would you compel them to go ahead and check you guys out on season 3?
Make the time.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah. What do you guys?
doing at 8.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you watching, Monday Night Football or something? Like, whoa, I'm actually getting word a lot of Americans are watching Monday Night Football. But if you're not, check out the show. Yeah, I listen. It's really fun. We're going into the 3rd season. We do 18 episodes a season. So if you wanna binge a bunch on Peacock, we have a ton of episodes already,
and it's good.
and it's really good.
And funny.
It's a blast. We're looking into the camera. It's a classic mockumentary situation. It's just like this. You're gonna love it.
I'm enjoying this. So listen, so let me talk about a little bit. So many people are wondering how, when they see you on TV, it's like, how did this person get their start? I mean, like, can you guys go briefly into your background? Kayun, you start.
Well, long story short, born and raised in Korea, came to the States, went to Juilliard, said, I want to be an actor. Came to LA, and here I am, living the American dream.
And that's actually exactly what happened to me also. That's so crazy.
He was right next to me.
I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
No, I was a stand-up comedian, and then I was a TV writer after that. And then one time I was writing on a show, Jury Duty, and they were like, maybe you could act on the show. And then I started acting more after that, and I don't know, somehow accidentally I'm here. Whoops.
Awesome. I love it. You guys are fun. So listen, let me ask you something, because a lot of times when you think about a project and you go into it, you're excited and you have different thoughts in your mind, and then once you're in it, you realize, wow, there's a lot of different things than I had originally thought. Tell us some of the, I don't know, top 2 or 3 things that going in you had no idea you would see once you're in it. You follow what I'm saying?
Totally, yeah. I was surprised at, and this sounds silly to say, but the pilot we shot in a real hospital that we sort of dressed to be this fake hospital in Oregon, but then they built a real scale hospital on a soundstage here at the Universal lot, and it
looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's a lot of effort for what is ultimately a kind of mundane and boring workplace, but that's what makes it special, is that they nail all the little signs on the door and all of the little tiny details that make a hospital. So that was surprising.
Ooh, you know what was surprising is, how you see those blooper reels?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you see like The Office and they see the blooper reels or Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
We're sometimes the blooper reels.
Yeah, it's nice to be in a blooper reel.
Yeah.
It's fun. As it's happening live, you're like, oh my God, we're messing up the scene right now. This is great. I do. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Monday nights, 8 o'clock on NBC, Dr. Dennis, or St. Dennis Medical. You guys sound great. You're selling it for us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go?
Ooh, we're really cute on the show.
We're cute on the show. Tune in. Season 2, we got lots of great guest stars. Draymond Green was on this season. That's pretty cool. We've got an exciting finale.
Yeah.
And watch the second to last episode. There's maybe some explosive turns in our characters' friendship relationship. Who's to say? I don't know details.
Okay.
There's an explosion. I want to promise there's going to be an explosion on the show. CGI was very expensive. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to watch in spite of having Draymond Green on the show, because in Memphis, the Grizzlies, we don't like Draymond Green all that much. But we like you. And so
listen, he gets struck by lightning. You guys may enjoy that. You may enjoy being struck by lightning in the show.
Hey, don't give away the farm. That's okay. But listen, that's good. You sold it. You made up for it. All right, well, listen, Kayun and McKee, we really appreciate you on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Good luck. Congratulations on the 3rd season, and we'll look for you on TV. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder to you, today we're giving you a first alert to strong storms that could be developing here over the next couple of hours as we get into this afternoon here across the Mid-South. I want to look at that super 7-day forecast because, again, a heightened opportunity for scattered showers and storms, some of which could turn strong to possibly severe. So let's time it out with our First Alert Futurecast. Notice here on our First Alert Futurecast, it's starting off without much fanfare, but there will be some storms that quickly develop as we head closer to lunchtime. So keep an eye to the sky. The storms, again, could quickly become strong to severe, with wind and hail potential being the primary issues to watch out for. That will likely continue into the early evening hours before things start to taper off after about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, heading into the early hours of your Tuesday. I want to give you a first alert because this is not just a rain system. This is not just a wind system, but potentially a hail system as well. The possibility for a few of these storms to have some hail associated with them as we head through the afternoon and early evening hours. We'll be keeping an eye out on that because some of that hail could be pretty large. Some instances have hail potential upwards of 2 inches in diameter, especially across North Mississippi with this one. I do want to give you another first alert. There's another opportunity for storms coming up for Wednesday of this week. Of course, we want you to stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. 80 the high temperature tomorrow. Pretty standard day before we get into that next round of storms moving into the fold. You'll notice on our First Alert the extended forecast with the First Alert Futurecast heading into Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning rather, scattered showers beginning to develop along an approaching frontal boundary. That could get pretty active pretty quickly. Strong storms, strong winds, maybe a brief spin-up tornado, a possibility, and some hail possible. I don't think this one's going to be as much of a hail producer as the one that we could see today. But needless to say, definitely some heavy rainfall that could lead up to some flood concerns as the front works its way down towards the south, eventually clearing the board as we head through the overnight period of Wednesday into early Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, not a bad way to get into your weekend. We're talking about highs that will work their way back up through the 50s for highs by that point. An additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe localized higher amounts of possibility as we go through the next 5 days here across the region, because once we get past that, we are pretty quiet. As I mentioned, about 58 the high temperature going into your Thursday. I think in general, upper 50s and low 60s will be the call there. Low 70s expected on your Friday. We're expecting high temperatures to get up into the upper 60s, low 70s across the board on Friday, with mostly sunny skies here across the region. Going into Saturday, Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade, not bad. 76 the high, mostly sunny. A south breeze coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not bad on Sunday either, but we'll probably start to add in more clouds and maybe a chance for a shower or two as a frontal boundary gets ready to head in our direction as we head through the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Sunday, heading into the end of the forecast period. You'll notice on the extended forecast, behind that system, we do turn cooler, 50s for highs by Monday. Tuesday of next week, back to near 60 by Wednesday. But highlighting, giving you that first alert today, tomorrow for that risk for strong and today and Wednesday rather, for those strong and severe storm potentials coming into play. Stay weather aware. We'll keep you advised here on the Action News 5 digital desk as well as actionnews5.com, the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app, and on television throughout the course of the day. Today, our next newscast today at midday. Again, at 3:30, 4, 5, 6, and 10.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There is a story that's written in the Daily Memphian, and this is about tax revenue from XAI. It is projected to more than double. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have Sam Hardiman on the line. He wrote this article, and XAI has been in the news a lot over the last several weeks, several months. Sam, I don't have to tell you, but this one definitely piqued my curiosity because a lot of people who have been in support of XAI coming into Memphis and the Mid-South area have pointed to this fact that tax revenues are going to continue to grow. Can you talk a little bit about the projections when it comes to this tax revenue? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Thanks for having me. And so the Shelby County Assessor's Office gave a presentation to the Shelby County Commission that estimates XAI's Shelby County property tax revenue, which is just one component. They obviously pay City of Memphis taxes for their City of Memphis operations. And this doesn't have anything to do with their South Haven operations because that's a different state and different municipality in that state. But just for Shelby County, based for the 2 data centers in Memphis, it could pay up to $28 million this year in ad valorem property tax, which is obviously a big amount of money. It's huge for the county budget. It would probably be a similar amount of money just based on projections for the City of Memphis because the assessments work roughly the same. But we don't know that officially yet. And so last year for the 2025 tax year, XAI paid the county $12.5 million. This is money that's actually been paid, and the City of Memphis $12 million. And that was just with one data center on the tax rolls. What's really important here is now there are 2 data centers. The Whitehaven data center, which is at 5420 Tulane Road, is now on the tax rolls. Beyond the first original one, source of the original controversy, 3231 Polar Lowry Road, which is now going to be on its 2nd year on the tax rolls. And so that's where this money in this increased projection is coming from. We still haven't seen the actual appraisals yet, and that's something to really look at and make sure that XAI is being taxed on everything that's in the building. But this is why the revenue is going up. It's just there's more XAI to tax.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I know last year there was discussion about earmarking some of their tax money to some of the neighborhoods around XAI. I know there was talk. Did anything come from that? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, something happened. I don't actually know what the City of Memphis has done with the money yet, but the City of Memphis did pass an ordinance. Forgive me, I don't remember the name of it, but essentially allocating money within a radius around the XI data centers, a quarter of the tax revenue. And the mayor actually put out a video probably last week on his Instagram page that was talking, didn't really say what was being done in 38109, but was video talking to local pastors and residents about the need for investment in the area. Obviously, the Memphis Mayor Paul Young has yet to present his budget yet. And so that's, how much their revenue they're expecting from XAI and what a quarter of it looks like remains to be seen. So yeah, that has happened. At the same time, both Shelby County and the City of Memphis face real budget constraints and have slow growth in other revenue sources or negative growth in some revenue sources in the City of Memphis. So this money is coming, this influx of essentially what is taxation on billions, tens of billions of dollars, probably in investment from XAI is coming probably at a welcome time for both governments' budgets, is probably fair to say.
Yeah, I can see that. Interesting stuff, Sam. Another thing that was interesting that I found in that article that you wrote, Sam, was the fact that other companies have purchased properties for perhaps the potential of other data centers. Explain.
Yeah, and we've reported this at the Daily Memphian. I think WMC has too. We're talking about the former Fred's warehouse, other stuff. Probably none of it as substantial as XAI, because XAI, not just on a Memphis scale. Like I think Memphians sort of sometimes forget how large XAI's actual investment here is or maybe even don't know in terms on a national scale. It's giant. This is one of the largest clusters of data centers in the country for like artificial intelligence purposes. So like just a different level of investment. But yeah, these other data centers are planned, and again, planned is not, building, is not having permits, is not drawing electricity, right? There's a difference. And yeah, so I mean, that is what the Shelby County, assessor's office is saying in a presentation. Whether or not that stuff actually comes on the tax rolls is different. I mean, XAI has come on the tax rolls and built data centers. Obviously, they're in existing buildings. That's part of the reason why, at pretty crazy speed, right? In the West Memphis, Google project, for example, obviously different state, different municipality, but not any. I mean, because that's a new build. That's nowhere close to contributing tax revenue to that community yet. And so this isn't to praise XAI. It's just to say XAI is moving at such speed that, like, almost in real time, the investment in any economic benefit from the controversy, which is really the tax revenue, right, is happening versus just controversy and no increased tax revenue. And so that's worth. And obviously, it's not just controversy. There's real air pollution concerns that have come with XAI. XAI has been a material addition, not material, I can't say that, but has definitely been an addition based on facts to the region's air quality issues. How big of an addition is probably beyond my knowledge, but and I'd love to see some good science on that. But there's increased tax revenue here, and then there's also the fact that this investment has come with an additional worse contribution to air quality issues, which Shelby County already had before XAI arrived.
Okay. All right. Another thing I wanted to mention, kind of related there, is the fact that with these other companies perhaps building data centers, and again, as you mentioned, I mean, there's nothing that has any kind of agreement in place that says, okay, a data center will go up. They've just purchased property there. But it could drive, if you mentioned, XAI has this huge presence here. Could there be the possibility of, becoming this hot spot for data centers and artificial intelligence here in Memphis and the Mid-South?
I mean, it's not just a possibility at this point, Andrew. I mean, if you just look at the amount of very valuable chips, which we don't have a really good number from the company on right now, that are doing the type of artificial intelligence computing in Memphis that XAI has, Memphis is definitely a hotspot. Just a matter of whether the discussion of, is Memphis going to be like an AI hub in the future, and is this going to, grow? I think that's hypothetical. I think XAI by itself has made Memphis this. Whether or not there's going to be this sort of critical mass of companies is unclear. And it's also worth noting that some of these other data centers aren't necessarily AI data centers. And there's a difference in terms of, we're using the cloud right now for all this interview, right? We're using whatever Zoom is using as a cloud provider and whatever y'all are using. And we're, being able to do this. I mean, that's happening because of a data center. It's just not an artificial intelligence data center. And so that's, I think, important to note too. And so, yeah, I think XAI by itself, but just, I mean, the amount of investment it takes to become an AI hub is crazy. And it's just, I don't know if there's going to be another company coming.
Okay. Well, listen, I always appreciate the conversation. Sam Hardiman, Daily Memphian, and joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We appreciate your time as always, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
You got it. All right. Another live look from our High Five camera. Midtown Memphis, and we're going to take a quick 60-second break. And when we return, we're going to recap some of the breaking news that we've been following this morning on Action News 5's Digital Desk. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Throughout the month, we always like to check in with various neighbors, various leaders across the Mid-South. And today we are checking in with our friends in Bartlett, Tennessee. We got the mayor, David Parsons, joining us as he does every month or so, just to kind of get an update on the city of Bartlett, the largest suburb in Shelby County. So, David, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Andrew. Sure can't complain about the weather.
I know. After all that snow and ice, hopefully that's gone for good. I know technically we're in winter, but man, it feels good to be at least feeling like summer with a high of, in the 70s and 80s. So tell us what's going on in Bartlett. I know you guys are busy in the month of March.
Yes, sir. Andrew, we start off tomorrow with our annual State of the City message. It's a time where, as the mayor speaks about reflecting back over the previous year and looking forward to the upcoming year. That's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, March the 5th, at our BPAC, Bartlett Performing Arts and Conference Center, which is at 3663 Appling. And so that'd be a great event. It'd be kind of cast like it was last year with a Johnny Carson type thing, but with the 80s layered on top of that. So that's tomorrow night, and then we move to March the 9th, which is a die-cast toy show down at the Vineyard, which is at 5868 Stage Road. That's
can I ask something about that, David? Because it says here that it's March 7th, Saturday. Is it March 7th or March 9th?
Hold on just a second, let me verify that.
Because I got something that says Saturday, March 7th from 9 to 3.
I'm sorry, that's my fault, Andrew. It is on the 7th. I'm trying to speed this along too fast. And so that's from 9 to 3. And but it's pretty cool because you can see a lot of the old Hot Wheel toys and stuff like that. It's a good, it'd be kind of cool.
I love it. What else is happening?
Right after that, we follow through with Carlene Carter, which is the daughter of June Carter Cash. She sung songs like I Fell in Love, Every Little Thing, Me, and A Wild Rose. That's on March the 7th at BPAC also at 7:30. And then we follow up behind that with the Bartlett Business Expo, which is March the 12th, which is at the YMCA in Bartlett, which is at 7700 Flaherty Place. That's from 9 to 3. Bartlett Business Expo. You'll have all kind of vendors there, as you can see on the screen. Lots of stuff to do there, so come and get involved. Behind that, on March the 21st, we have the Bartlett Community Concert Band. It's an evening of Broadway tunes, and it also is at the BPAC. You can get tickets at bpac.org. And then, believe it or not, Easter's right around the corner, Andrew. We have the Easter Extravaganza on March the 28th. At 9 o'clock at Freeman Park. Freeman Park is at 2629 Bartlett Boulevard. And one of the cool things we do at the Easter Extravaganza is the Lions Club has beeping eggs for the visually impaired. That's always a little treat to watch them find the little beeping eggs that's out there. So that's pretty cool. And then March the 28th, we have the comedian Jeff Allen. Many of you see him on a lot of the shows around here. He is sold out, but he is at 7:30. And then we take a peek into April, and we have the Bartlett Bayou Bash is back. That's April the 11th at Freeman Park from 11 to 7. Man, come down there. Some raging, caging, crawfish, and some music. It's always a good time at Freeman Park. And so, as always, you can stay up to date through our social media at bmbartlett.com. BENBartlett.com, and you can find out everything we just said and everything coming up.
I love it. It looks fantastic. You guys got a menu chock full of something for everybody, and I'm just glad spring's here. We get to go outside again with the nice warm weather, David. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir. So there's plenty of things to say, plenty of places to be, plenty of places to go here in Bartlett, and just get out and enjoy this great weather, because we only have it, just in Memphis. I always say, just stay tuned. Wait till tomorrow. It'll change for you.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, David Parsons joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, the City of Bartlett Mayor. We always appreciate your time. Thank you. Back here live in the Action News 5 digital desk, we continue to follow this breaking news story. This is a live picture of I-55 right now from our NDOT traffic camera, and you can see right now this backup. It is a massive backup that is currently on one portion of the interstate. Another portion is completely shut down. So one person is dead after this shooting that took place on I-55. This is according to South Haven Police. It happened this morning. This is near the Church Road exit. And according to investigators, people inside two different vehicles were firing gunshots at each other. They just opened fire, began firing at each other. One person pronounced dead on scene. Right now, it's still unclear exactly what role that person played in the incident, but the Mississippi Department of Transportation is on scene along with police there and other first responders as they continue to investigate, gather clues on the scene. You can see there that all southbound lanes, all southbound lanes of I-55 shut down, and so drivers need to find an alternate route. Highway 51 is one that's in that area. Again, anyone with information asked to contact the South Haven Police Department here, but the northbound lanes are at a snail's pace right now, as you can see, as the southbound lanes continue to be shut down as police continue to gather clues and investigate exactly what happened here. We're going to take a short break. We're back in 60 seconds on Action News 5's Digital Desk. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Well, there is a new series with someone very familiar to you, Mike Wolf. He is American Picker star on the History Channel, and he's got a new series celebrating America's rarest collectibles and iconic stories. And he is the host, the executive producer of this new series. He is someone that most people recognize searching for hidden treasures, American Pickers. I'm sure that you have heard this story as an ultimate treasure hunter. And joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk from as far away as Nashville, Tennessee, he is with us now talking about his new series and his adventures in Memphis. Mike, it's great to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your adventures in Memphis.
Okay,
Good morning.
well, oh man, I appreciate the opportunity. We are still airing American Pickers. That show has been on for 16 years now. That is actually a show that I pitched for 5 years, and I was living in my van. I bought a camera. I was traveling the country buying and selling things, and I wanted to start documenting it. And so all of that hard work has led to this interview that we're at right now.
Excellent, excellent. So this is a brand new series, and I have some video that we can roll as you talk about it. Tell me a little bit about how this series differs from what's currently on the air for the last 16 years on the History Channel, Mike.
Okay, so it's different and it's similar in the respect. So there's a high level of storytelling on this show, just like there is on American Pickers. You're not going to see me actually pick anything, though. You're going to see me introducing pieces. We're going to cut to a reenactment. We're going to cut to an expert, and then I'm going to do the out. I'm going to do what they call wraparounds. But I was involved in picking these stories that we're talking about. It's exciting to me because we're talking about American history, which is the history of all of us, and I think that's important for us to still dive into.
I agree, and I'm looking at it right now. It looks really cool, seeing some vintage things. Can you talk about some of the things that that you'd like to, that you guys are going to highlight on this new series?
This episode that you're showcasing here is transportation related. It talks about the Batmobile. It talks about James Bond's car. It talks about a 1908 Harley that was discovered in a barn in Wisconsin. It talks about James Dean's car. But that's just one episode. Each episode is themed. There's 8 episodes. So we're going to be talking about anything from space-related stuff to electronics to sports-related things. There's just a huge gamut of what we're covering on the show. But the exciting thing about this show is we're talking about how it was found, who found it, and then we're showing what it realized at the end of each piece. That's one of the things that a lot of people have always been curious about on American Pickers is they're like, I see you guys buy this stuff and I see what you pay for it, but we never see the end result. This show changes that.
Do you go by cities? How does it work exactly? Peel the curtain back, if you will, about, do you camp out in one area and then go to all the destinations, or do you go from city to city based upon the iconic finds that you see?
Well, on American Pickers, that's exactly what we would do. We would travel for 2 weeks on the road at a time. We would camp out in a city, and then we would go off in different directions from that, that hive. But on this show, we've actually filmed 8 episodes in 4 days in my warehouse in Columbia, Tennessee. What you're seeing me walk past right there, that's actually my stuff. That's a warehouse full of my collectibles. It's a 1947 Chevrolet dealership that I'm walking through there.
That is so cool. I love it. I love it. And so you're right down the road from us here in Memphis and the Mid-South. Anything that we can talk about that you perhaps found that's a little bit related to the Memphis area?
Well, I mean, we did a show there with a guy, I can't remember his name. He runs for mayor every year. He threw flour all over Frank and I when we were at Prince Mongo.
Mongo?
Prince Mongo was the guy's name. You know that guy?
Of course. Everybody knows him.
Okay.
He's an alien
well, we did a
from
show
the
with
planet
him,
Zamunda.
and we bought some oh my gosh, we bought some great historic signs from record stores that were in Memphis. Frank and I used to drive around Memphis 25 years ago and go into neighborhoods where there were a lot of buildings that weren't occupied and try to find out who owned the building so we could buy the neon sign off the front of it. So we've been at this for a very long time, and I love Memphis, man. I mean, obviously I'm a music fan, but it's really the people, just like any place else. The people have so much to be proud of there, and you can feel that.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder to you, today we're giving you a first alert to strong storms that could be developing here over the next couple of hours as we get into this afternoon here across the Mid-South. I want to look at that super 7-day forecast because, again, a heightened opportunity for scattered showers and storms, some of which could turn strong to possibly severe. So let's time it out with our First Alert Futurecast. Notice here on our First Alert Futurecast, it's starting off without much fanfare, but there will be some storms that quickly develop as we head closer to lunchtime. So keep an eye to the sky. The storms, again, could quickly become strong to severe, with wind and hail potential being the primary issues to watch out for. That will likely continue into the early evening hours before things start to taper off after about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, heading into the early hours of your Tuesday. I want to give you a first alert because this is not just a rain system. This is not just a wind system, but potentially a hail system as well. The possibility for a few of these storms to have some hail associated with them as we head through the afternoon and early evening hours. We'll be keeping an eye out on that because some of that hail could be pretty large. Some instances have hail potential upwards of 2 inches in diameter, especially across North Mississippi with this one. I do want to give you another first alert. There's another opportunity for storms coming up for Wednesday of this week. Of course, we want you to stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. 80 the high temperature tomorrow. Pretty standard day before we get into that next round of storms moving into the fold. You'll notice on our First Alert, the extended forecast with the First Alert Futurecast heading into Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning rather, scattered showers beginning to develop along an approaching frontal boundary. That could get pretty active pretty quickly. So, strong storms, strong winds, maybe a brief spin up tornado, a possibility, and some hail possible. I don't think this one's going to be as much of a hail producer as the one that we could see today. But needless to say, definitely some heavy rainfall that could lead up to some flood concerns as the front works its way down towards the south, eventually clearing the board as we head through the overnight period of Wednesday into early Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, not a bad way to get into your weekend. We're talking about highs that will work their way back up through the 50s for highs by that point. An additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe localized higher amounts of possibility as we go through the next 5 days here across the region, because once we get past that, we are pretty quiet. As I mentioned, about 58 the high temperature going into your Thursday. I think in general, upper 50s and low 60s will be the call there. Low 70s expected on your Friday. We're expecting high temperatures to get up into the upper 60s, low 70s across the board on Friday with mostly sunny skies here across the region. Going into Saturday, Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade, not bad. 76 the high, mostly sunny. A south breeze coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not bad on Sunday either, but we'll probably start to add in more clouds and maybe a chance for a shower or two as a frontal boundary gets ready to head in our direction as we head through the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Sunday, heading into the end of the forecast period. You'll notice on the extended forecast behind that system, we do turn cooler, 50s for highs by Monday, Tuesday of next week, back to near 60 by Wednesday. But highlighting, giving you that first alert today, tomorrow for that risk for strong and today and Wednesday rather, for those strong and severe storm potentials coming into play. Stay weather aware. We'll keep you advised here on the Action News 5 digital desk as well as actionnews5.com, the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app, and on television throughout the course of the day. Today, our next newscast today at midday. Again, at 3:30, 4, 5, 6, and 10.
Hey, Tony, good morning. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's Andrew Douglas here in Memphis. We got about 45 seconds until we come to you. Just wanted to say hello. Everything looks good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I can. I appreciate your time.
Okay, appreciate it. We'll talk to you in a second, okay?
Perfect.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to tell you about a show that's coming to A&E. It is called Predator Hunters, and it is a new series that follows a 30-year veteran investigator by the name of Detective Tony Godwin, where he and his team in the North Texas-based Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, they uncover all kinds of online exploitation and bring perpetrators to justice before they harm any children. And joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have Tony joining us to talk a little bit more about this series. Tony, it's good to meet you. Tell me, first off, about your background. 30 years. Is this all in the Texas area? Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Thank you for having me. And, I've been in law enforcement for almost 35 years total. I started out in the military as a cop and a detective, and then I transitioned to a civilian agency where I've been for the last 32 years. And my role for the past 20 of those 32 years has been on the North Texas ICAC Task Force.
Okay, and so obviously the work has gained the attention of these producers at A&E. Tell me the kind of work that you do and what we're going to see if we, tune in to watch this. I have a little bit of video that I can show while you're talking.
Yeah, thank you for that. So generally, I do undercover work online. So anything that affects a child, gaming systems, cell phones, computers, the World Wide Web, anything involving child exploitation, I put myself out there in an undercover capacity in the hopes that a predator will find me instead of a real child. Everything that I do online in an undercover capacity is something that I've learned, unfortunately, from a real case involving a real child. And so it's important for us and the ICAC Task Force to be out there and prevent any harm to a real kid if we can.
The first thing when I was prepping for this interview, Tony, initially I thought of To Catch a Predator, which was early 2000s. It was on NBC, very popular show. How is this different, or is it very much the same?
Oh, it's very different. I can assure you that. At the end of the day, this is all run by law enforcement. In order to do this type of work in the ICAC, you have to be an active law enforcement officer, which was very different than how it was done back in the day. And while entertaining, the entertainment value is still there because, we do end up catching a lot of really bad people. And I think the audience itself is going to hopefully gain the understanding and the education component to this, to know that these are real life case studies. This isn't make believe. This is things that really happen. And I think they're also going to see just how rapidly things move and the reality and severity of some of the things these offenders will do and say.
So you've been doing this, as we've been talking about, for over 30 years. What kind of advice would you give to parents? There are so many parents out there that are concerned about online predators and their kids being online. Give me some basic advice that you would give those parents.
Yeah. Oh, really great question. Number one is I would say the key thing is probably be intentional, leaning in, knowing when you see some sort of behavior change in a child. Maybe they go from an A student down to a D student, or maybe their friend group has changed significantly, or they've always been an outgoing person and now they're kind of an introvert. So pay attention. Those could be red flags that something's going on. Also, know what's going on, know how to get into their phones, know the passcodes, know the apps, educate yourself about where they're going and what they're doing, and monitor what they're doing. If you do that on your own, as well as with maybe some kind of a software to do that, you're going to help yourself out in the long run, and do so in a loving and constructive way that's age appropriate for your child. But that intentionality of multiple conversations over the course of time is the key. That's the key. Because if you do that, the chance that if something does happen, your child will come to you or a trusted adult and say, I think I've gotten myself into a situation. You may not be happy. You may be a little disappointed, but you can do this and conquer this and empower that child to know that they did the right thing, and we're going to get this taken care of.
Great advice there, Tony. Final thing, where can we watch this show?
It's on A&E on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time. The premiere episode was last week, but there's 10 episodes in this, so I hope everybody will tune in on Thursdays at 9 o'clock Eastern on A&E.
Okay. Detective Tony Godwin, we really appreciate you coming on the digital desk, telling us not only about your show Predator Hunters, but also great advice for some parents out there that have young children. And we know that is certainly a problem with so many people all across the country, is this online predators that are out there. So listen, we appreciate the time. Thanks for the expertise, and we'll look for you on A&E Thursday night. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I thank you, and thank you very much for your time.
You got it. All right. Thank you, Tony. Another live look from our High Five camera. As we go to break on this Monday, some clouds out there. We're going to take 60 seconds. We're back on Action News 5's Digital Desk. Back here live in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Want to show you an update here to our breaking news story that we've been covering all morning long. I-55, both lanes back open. As you can see right now in that area in question this morning, it had been closed for several hours after a shooting, a deadly shooting on Interstate 55 near the Church Road exit. And according to investigators, there were people in both two different vehicles firing at each other. One person was pronounced dead on scene here several hours ago. It's still unclear exactly how this came about, what happened, what role that individual perhaps played in the incident. So many first responders, police, Mississippi Department of Transportation workers, they were all there, and they shut down the southbound lanes for several hours. Northbound lanes were at a snail's pace, but in the last few minutes, both lanes of I-55 there at Church Road back now open as South Haven Police and other agencies continue to investigate what happened earlier this morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. If you're like me, if you're like most Mid-Southerners, you are so happy there's no more snow and ice anywhere on the ground. I don't care if it rains. I don't care if it's 85 degrees already. It just isn't. We're just not dealing with any snow and ice. I don't know what the machine's working on as a mind of its own. But let's bring in Jalen Suchek on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk about some amazing events that really kind of help us usher in the spring season. Jalen, good morning.
Yes, I am with the same sentiment with you. I am over the cold weather, and it just feels amazing, which is great because we're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors this month.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, you're highlighting some of the prettiest areas in the city of Memphis. Let's go.
Yeah, so the first, I don't know if people are super aware of this, but 2026 is going to be just a really huge year for arts and culture in Memphis. We have a lot of really exciting openings. We have, Memphis Art Museum at the end of the year. The Metal Museum will be opening in the fall. Legacy Building at National Civil Rights Museum. And a lot of milestones. So I know the Memphis Youth Symphony was just on. It's a anniversary year for them as well. But one of the big anniversaries happening is the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. They are celebrating 50 years. And so if you've spent any time out in the gardens over the years, they are very known for their tulip display. This year, they are just dialing it up ×3. So they have planted 650,000 tulips that will be in bloom very, very soon. You'll get the early blooms if you go right now, but about mid to late March is when you're really going to see that kind of full display. And of course, the Dixon is also always free to visit. So just a really good time to go out, be outside and enjoy the gardens. The tulips are beautiful and it always changes every year.
I love the fact that it's still free for everybody because it is one of the prettiest, most colorful places in all of Memphis. In fact, the first time I ever visited, Jalen, Memphis, Tennessee, I was taken to the Dixon because it is so pretty. It's just such a gem.
That's a good hostess who took you there. And yeah, so it's free forever too. So that's great news.
Certainly is.
And then when you're at the Dixon, you have to go inside, of course. The galleries are also part of the free experience. Right now, they have for an on exhibit. It's called Black Artists in America from the Bicentennial to September 11th. This is the third and final show in the series. And you can see from our video and a reel we just posted on Instagram last week or so. It is an incredible display. You can really get lost in this for hours. And it's going to be on display from now through March 29th. It features 50 works by different artists, including Ramir Bearden, Elizabeth Catlett, Ernie Barnes. He is the artist heavily featured on the show Good Times, if you're familiar with that. So it's just a really incredible display. And then they also have their other traditional collections on display as well. And then another piece to this is because they are celebrating the 50th anniversary, they have an interactive gallery. It's called Meet the Dixons. So it'll tell the story essentially of how the gardens came to be and the couple, which is Margaret and Hugo Dixon. But they're a little bit about their story, and that will be on display through May 31st.
I love it. It's just two great reasons to check out the Dixon, and I understand the Dixon's neighbor, if you will, is also going crazy this spring with some amazing events too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I encourage you to go to the Dixon multiple times and then stick around on that east corner because Memphis Botanic Garden is hosting Bloom. It's a million shades of spring. So there will be over 1 million blooms happening at the gardens between March and May. So this is going to kind of take you through a seasonal journey of blooms. So you'll begin, of course, with the cherry blossoms, to tulips, to azaleas and magnolias. And then they're going to be really dialing up the activity. So of course they want you to come visit the gardens during those different blooming times. But they're going to be doing Bloom Saturdays. This will be happening every week. It's an all ages kind of make a day of it experience. There will be a bunch of kid activities, food trucks, live performances, cultural celebrations, and a lot more. And then they also have some events for the adults. So this is the after hours Bloom energy. So that's 21 and up only events. They're going to be doing mixology workshops, sip and strolls, flower arranging workshops, tulips at twilight, just a jam-packed calendar for the next 3 months happening at the Memphis Botanic Garden.
Yeah, Memphis Botanic Garden dials it up like 365 days a year. They have great stuff for the family and great stuff for adults as well. Gosh, Jalen, that Park and Cherry location in Memphis is going to be gorgeous.
It's going to be absolutely beautiful. I mean, between the both of them, I think it's just one of the outdoor destinations in the South.
No question, no question. I can't wait. So what else you got?
And right now, it just opened last week at the Memphis Brooks Museum of Art is the Memphis College of Art 1936 to 2020 an Enduring Legacy collection. So this is going to tell the 84-year history of the Memphis College of Art, which did, of course, close in 2020. So the exhibition will feature the work of 90 artists. That's faculty, administrators, and graduates of the school during that time. And these are, many of these artists are artists that have gone on to have great success. They have collections and work in prominent museums, galleries, and collections nationwide. And as you can see from the video, there's just countless number of mediums of art, from photography, painting, ceramics, textiles, sculptures, printmaking, and more. So this will be on view through September 27th. And this is just kind of really important and sentimental, especially to Memphis. A lot of those artists are still working in our city, thankfully, and kind of can look at it as almost the closing chapter of the school now that the Metal Museum is making headway with their renovation of moving into that space in Overton Park.
Yeah, you know, that was something that I think a lot of Memphians and Mid-Southerners were sad to see go. I mean, it had such a history and such a legacy in Memphis. And, you know, I know there's another art school actually in East Memphis that's opened up and to try to fill the gap there. What else do you have going on in the I Love Memphis blog, Jalen?
Well, we have a lot. So we do have individual guides for the Dixon's 50th if you want to see more of those events, as well as the Memphis Botanic Gardens Bloom. So completely curated guides for that. In our other updates, we have a March events guide. It's 25 plus things to do all month long. And also we just got our St. Patrick's Day guide live yesterday, and we will be continuing to add events because they'll really start getting announced this week. But it's already looking like it's going to be a really fun St. Patrick's Day. But we are heading into spring. We have our food and drink festivals guide. It's time to pack the calendar. So definitely use the blog to fill in those dates before, you know, you're on Saturday morning and you're like, what do I want to do? There's going to be a lot to do in the next upcoming months.
I love it. I love MemphisBlog.com. Jalen Suchek running it all for us. Joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Jalen, as always, you always bring it every time you come on the Digital Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder to you, today we're giving you a first alert to strong storms that could be developing here over the next couple of hours as we get into this afternoon here across the Mid-South. I want to look at that super 7-day forecast because, again, a heightened opportunity for scattered showers and storms, some of which could turn strong to possibly severe. So let's time it out with our first alert futurecast. Notice here on our first alert futurecast, it's starting off without much fanfare, but there will be some storms that quickly develop as we head closer to lunchtime. So keep an eye to the sky. The storms, again, could quickly become strong to severe, with wind and hail potential being the primary issues to watch out for. That will likely continue into the early evening hours before things start to taper off after about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, heading into the early hours of your Tuesday. I want to give you a first alert because this is not just a rain system. This is not just a wind system, but potentially a hail system as well. The possibility for a few of these storms to have some hail associated with them as we head through the afternoon and early evening hours. We'll be keeping an eye out on that because some of that hail could be pretty large. Some instances have hail potential upwards of 2 inches in diameter, especially across North Mississippi with this one. I do want to give you another first alert. There's another opportunity for storms coming up for Wednesday of this week. Of course, we want you to stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. 80 the high temperature tomorrow. Pretty standard day before we get into that next round of storms moving into the fold. You'll notice on our First Alert, the extended forecast with the First Alert Futurecast heading into Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning rather, scattered showers beginning to develop along an approaching frontal boundary. That could get pretty active pretty quickly. So, strong storms, strong winds, maybe a brief spin-up tornado, a possibility, and some hail possible. I don't think this one's going to be as much of a hail producer as the one that we could see today. But needless to say, definitely some heavy rainfall that could lead up to some flood concerns as the front works its way down towards the south, eventually clearing the board as we head through the overnight period of Wednesday into early Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, not a bad way to get into your weekend. We're talking about highs that will work their way back up through the 50s for highs by that point. An additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe localized higher amounts of possibility as we go through the next 5 days here across the region, because once we get past that, we are pretty quiet. As I mentioned, about 58 the high temperature going into your Thursday. I think in general, upper 50s and low 60s will be the call there. Low 70s expected on your Friday. We're expecting high temperatures to get up into the upper 60s, low 70s across the board on Friday, with mostly sunny skies here across the region. Going into Saturday, Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade, not bad. 76 the high, mostly sunny. A south breeze coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not bad on Sunday either, but we'll probably start to add in more clouds and maybe a chance for a shower or two as a frontal boundary gets ready to head in our direction as we head through the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Sunday, heading into the end of the forecast period. You'll notice On the extended forecast behind that system, we do turn cooler, 50s for highs by Monday, Tuesday of next week, back to near 60 by Wednesday. But highlighting, giving you that first alert today, tomorrow for that risk for strong and today and Wednesday rather, for the strong and severe storm potentials coming into play. Stay weather aware. We'll keep you advised here on the Action News 5 digital desk as well as actionnews5.com, the Action News 5 First Alert weather app, and on television throughout the course of the day. Today, our next newscast today at midday. Again, at 3:30, 4, 5, 6, and 10.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. We have got some alarming new health data out there that suggests that 9 out of 10 people have certain health risk factors and they don't know or realize that they have it. And we're talking about health conditions that can trigger everything from heart disease, kidney disease, diabetes, all at the same time. Let's talk to somebody who knows about what we're talking about here and some of the latest data that is pretty alarming from what I understand. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Dr. Tiffany Powell-Wiley. She's a physician. She's also a researcher joining us on the digital desk to talk about this new data. So Tiffany, tell us, where do we begin on this? Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Andrew. So we want to make sure that people are aware of cardiovascular kidney metabolic syndrome, or CKM syndrome. And it's really about these interconnected diseases, things like diabetes and obesity, that put you at risk for heart disease and even kidney disease. And it's important to understand that all of these are interrelated, they're all interconnected, and one can put you at risk for the other, but also treatments that are out there can affect risk for each of those. And all of it affects heart health.
So, okay, so cardiovascular kidney metabolic syndrome or disease, explain what that is and maybe some warning signs that our audience would enjoy knowing.
So it's important to know that that CKM syndrome really relates to the fact that conditions like heart disease and kidney disease can't be treated in isolation. These are things that affect each other. And really, we want to emphasize that your body is interconnected. And so when we think of talking to our doctors about risk factors for heart disease, we want to ask not only about our high cholesterol, our blood pressure, and how it relates to our risk for heart disease, but also what does our kidney health look like? And that because that's important to think about as a risk factor for heart disease.
Yeah, I would think so. So this is something where a lot of people, we mentioned off the top that they don't even know that perhaps they are dealing with something that could really change the outcome of their lives, certainly their health. Can you explain a little bit more about what this data is saying and how people need to be more aware of what exactly is going on?
Absolutely. So it's important to think, as you mentioned, that 9 out of 10 U.S. adults have a risk factor for heart disease or kidney disease. Those are risk factors like obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. And so that's where it's important to know what those risk factors are, know your numbers, ask your physician about your numbers, but also understand that reversing and treating many of these risk factors can actually prevent not only heart disease, but also kidney disease.
Okay, so I was just going to ask you, Tiffany. Let's talk about prevention. So if we have one of those, and people are, by the way, our thousands of people that are watching, everybody should be getting a physical yearly. And if you have one of these conditions, then what?
So if you have one of these conditions, it's important to know what your numbers look like. Again, know what your blood pressure looks like, know what your cholesterol looks like, but also ask your doctor about treatments that are available, because many of the treatments that are available now for heart disease actually can treat things like kidney disease. And so making sure that you're on the right medications, but also making sure that you get the important physical activity and get the right diet for you. And so that's information that your doctor can help you provide and get the right information for you.
Sure, absolutely. And so we know, diet and exercise very important when it comes to these kind of conditions. What else can we do to perhaps prevent or improve our health with regards to these specific issues?
So the other important thing is to understand what our risks look like. And so we have new ways of measuring heart disease risk. And so one thing to ask your doctor is to use risk calculators that are now available that can try to account for all of the risk factors for, again, it's CKM syndrome, these interconnected risk factors, and start to understand what your long-term risks for heart disease look like.
Okay, CKM syndrome. Tiffany, we appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you for illuminating us to these different conditions that, in one way or another, they are all connected, and it's something that we need to be aware of. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. The Orpheum Theater Group's downtown campus, so that consists of the Halloran Center, the Orpheum Theater, they're undergoing an exterior renovation that you're going to be seeing more and more of, this revitalization project. Let's get an update on the project, what to expect, and what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Daiquiri Baptiste. She is the Vice President and COO of Orpheum Theater Group, joining us on the digital desk. Daiquiri, good morning to you. So tell me about the ideas behind this. Was it something that just, it needed time? It was time to get this so-called facelift? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today? The whole project really just stemmed from wanting the city to understand that both the Halloran Center and the Orpheum Theater are the same organization. We are a campus. We're not two standalone buildings. And we wanted our audience, our patrons, and just downtown residents to understand that we have a space not just inside of our doors, but outside of our doors.
Okay, and so I have some renderings here. Talk me through what we're seeing here, and is this what it's going to look like?
That is the goal. Yes, this is exactly what it's going to look like. From our board of directors to our president to our esteemed staff and team, we recognize that we have a lot of blank canvases that we want to paint with places to gather. So the Main Street Plaza is going to be phase one is what we're calling it. You'll see a huge O that will shape this space. We want to create some Instagrammable moments, and we felt like that O that everyone is so familiar with in our name should be one of those landing spots. We're also going to do some illumination and add more lighting out in our spaces and add some seating so that it is welcoming. People may want to walk by, sit out there and have a lunch and just be right there on Main Street, and or right before a performance, you want to have people to come downtown to say, hey, meet me at the O, meet me in the middle between the Orpheum and the Halloran before we enter one of the spaces. We've already added some lights that was across Bill Street last year, which is again also helping with adding more light, more gathering, if you will, around our spaces. Phase 2 of our project will take place on the corner of Beale and Front Street in the back of our building. That's the image you're seeing there. Again, another infamous O, a big splash on the back of our campus, which is currently now just a basic parking lot. We hope to do engagement opportunities in both of those spaces, and more particularly in the back on the front and Beale corner.
What brought this about? Is it just one of those things where, hey, look, it's time to upgrade a little bit?
That's exactly it. We recognize that we've done a lot of improvements inside of our spaces. The Halloran Center is only 10 years old. The Orpheum will be 100 years old in 2028. And we just decided that it made sense to do things that were outside, just so we didn't look so bare, if you will. We took it upon ourselves to want to do this, to be good neighbors.
So many people have enjoyed the Orpheum over many years, the Halloran Center over the last 10 years, as you mentioned. Does it mean that they're going to close at any point, or are they going to lose seats or anything like that?
Not at all. Our goal always with all of our projects is to have continuous business continuity. So working with our contractors and our architects, along with our programming that we do inside, the goal here is to not be able to stop business. We may have some signs that say, pardon our disturbance, pardon our construction, and with safe ways to walk around while it's going on. But there's no reason to believe that we will have to stop our operations that we're currently doing in order to complete these projects.
Okay, great. So what's the timetable for all this?
Well, phase 1, which is the Main Street campus, we're slotted to start that work from a construction standpoint late November, early December, with a hopeful completion date by middle to late spring. And then phase 2 will start shortly thereafter, hopefully in Q4 of 2026, to then hopefully be completed preferably in that same timeline. But the ultimate goal is that by November of 2028, when we'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Orpheum Theater, all of this work will be done, and our campus will not just be vibrant on the inside, but be fully activated on the outside, welcoming people not just to shows, Broadway, or music, but anything we could possibly imagine outside.
Fantastic. Okay, so anything else you wanted to mention to our audience? We have thousands of people who join us each and every morning.
I just want to say thank you so much for already being patrons of the arts that enter our spaces. And please spread the word. Please know that the Orpheum Theater Group is here to celebrate the city of Memphis, and that we want to, with these projects, be able to lift up even more artists in our spaces.
Fantastic. All right, Daiquiri Baptiste, we appreciate you coming on the digital desk and telling us about this exciting project that'll really transform that whole area, the downtown theater district, if you will, for November 2028, the 100th anniversary of the Orpheum. I love it. Thanks for coming on the digital desk. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder to you, today we're giving you a first alert to strong storms that could be developing here over the next couple of hours as we get into this afternoon here across the Mid-South. I want to look at that super 7-day forecast because, again, a heightened opportunity for scattered showers and storms, some of which could turn strong to possibly severe. So let's time it out with our first alert futurecast. Notice here on our first alert futurecast, it's starting off without much fanfare, but there will be some storms that quickly develop as we head closer to lunchtime. So keep an eye to the sky. The storms, again, could quickly become strong to severe, with wind and hail potential being the primary issues to watch out for. That will likely continue into the early evening hours before things start to taper off after about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, heading into the early hours of your Tuesday. I want to give you a first alert because this is not just a rain system. This is not just a wind system, but potentially a hail system as well. The possibility for a few of these storms to have some hail associated with them as we head through the afternoon and early evening hours. We'll be keeping an eye out on that because some of that hail could be pretty large. Some instances have hail potential upwards of 2 inches in diameter, especially across North Mississippi with this one. I do want to give you another first alert. There's another opportunity for storms coming up for Wednesday of this week. Of course, we want you to stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. 80 the high temperature tomorrow. Pretty standard day before we get into that next round of storms moving into the fold. You'll notice on our First Alert the extended forecast with the First Alert Futurecast heading into Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning rather, scattered showers beginning to develop along an approaching frontal boundary. That could get pretty active pretty quickly. So, strong storms, strong winds, maybe a brief spin-up tornado, a possibility, and some hail possible. I don't think this one's going to be as much of a hail producer as the one that we could see today. But needless to say, definitely some heavy rainfall that could lead up to some flood concerns as the front works its way down towards the south, eventually clearing the board as we head through the overnight period of Wednesday into early Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, not a bad way to get into your weekend. We're talking about highs that will work their way back up through the 50s for highs by that point. An additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe localized higher amounts of possibility as we go through the next 5 days here across the region, because once we get past that, we are pretty quiet. As I mentioned, about 58 the high temperature going into your Thursday. I think in general, upper 50s and low 60s will be the call there. Low 70s expected on your Friday. We're expecting high temperatures to get up into the upper 60s, low 70s across the board on Friday, with mostly sunny skies here across the region. Going into Saturday, Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade, not bad. 76 the high, mostly sunny. A south breeze coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not bad on Sunday either, but we'll probably start to add in more clouds and maybe a chance for a shower or two as a frontal boundary gets ready to head in our direction as we head through the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Sunday, heading into the end of the forecast period. You'll notice on the extended forecast, behind that system, we do turn cooler, 50s for highs by Monday. Tuesday of next week, back to near 60 by Wednesday. But highlighting, giving you that first alert today, tomorrow for that risk for strong and today and Wednesday rather, for the strong and severe storm potentials coming into play. Stay weather aware. We'll keep you advised here on the Action News 5 digital desk as well as actionnews5.com, the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app, and on television throughout the course of the day. Today, our next newscast today at midday. Again, at 3:30, 4, 5, 6, and 10.
To my first guest on the Action News 5 digital desk, and he is a legend. We are talking about someone who is world renowned. There he is. We're talking about Bekethi Kumalo. He is coming to Memphis. He's going to be at the Halloran Center Saturday, March 14th. He is someone that is known around the world. He's played with everybody. He is best known for creating iconic bass lines in the classics like You Can Call Me Al, Paul Simon's Graceland, all that stuff. And he's joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk to talk about this concert coming to Memphis at the Halloran Center March 14th. Bekethi, great to meet you. Tell me how things are going for you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. All is good. It's all excitement, and I'm just so looking forward to come to Memphis. My goodness. I mean, I've been there before, but really, this is more exciting now that I'm coming there with my band to play my music and share a great night with the audience and sing along and, bring South Africa to Memphis.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what this performance is going to be like. What can the audience expect?
I always surprise people, because I've been playing with Paul for so many years, I think 40 some years this year. And but my music, it's like you just never know what's gonna happen. There's always like, surprises thing. Nothing really it's planned. It's all surprise because that's how we do it in the village. We just throw you in the mix, sing along, and we teach you the language and play some amazing. And I have some really amazing, talented musicians, like the saxophone player. His name is Maurice Goldbeck. He was born in South Africa in Cape Town, and we met in Zimbabwe, like in the 1982 or 83, somewhere there. He's 89 years old, and he's still playing. And then some of the other musicians that I've met them when I moved to the States. But so the night is going to be really amazing, and also stories, and talk about our journey, talk about my journey, playing with Paul Simon and many others.
Fantastic. And I think many people who know music and know Paul Simon certainly remember that song, You Can Call Me Out, Going to Graceland. Tell me about just the kind of career that you've had. I mean, we're talking about spanning decades. I mean, generations, right?
That's right. That's right. Growing up in South Africa, first of all, things were so difficult, so hard. I grew up in a musical house. My grandmother, she used to go to church. My uncle played saxophone, and but it was chaotic. We lived in a four-room house, and 17 people live in that house, cousins and just everybody. And it was crazy. But the only thing that was beautiful was music, because every weekends, all the cultures, people, they walk around and singing and dress up with beautiful color clothes and playing drums and just singing a lot of stuff. And for me, it was enough information to be a musician, so I just stayed with it. And I stayed with it until the 80s, when I was discovered by Paul Simon. I didn't even know who the guy was. But
that's amazing.
I mean, I didn't expect this. I just played music. I had no idea what was gonna happen. But I always fell in love with American music, because every time I hear these songs on the radio, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. I would love to see these people. I would love to go there. But I asked for too much. And Paul Simon came to South Africa in 1986. I was chosen, and now, funny thing, I was working as a mechanic, as a runner, not, just to help my mother because she was getting sick. And so I was trying to make some money for her to get some medicine or something like that. But then the call came at the job to say Paul Simon was looking for me. Man, I was so scared. I was dropping things because I didn't know what Paul Simon, who the hell is Paul Simon? you know. And then my posse keeps saying, yeah, Paul Simon from Jamaica, Queens. And I don't know where the Jamaica Queens. And they finally explained from Jamaica Queens, New York. He sang the song Mother and Child Reunion. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's from Jamaica. He's the Rasta. I expect like a guy from Jamaica.
Very different than you found out. I know. And you played with him for
when I go to the
35
studio,
years, right?
Pardon me?
You played with Paul Simon's band, went on tour for over 35 years. Is that right?
40 years this year.
Wow. Okay, so we got the
and
concert.
I'm still playing with him.
Yeah. So we got the concert on March 14th at the Halloran Center, downtown Memphis. You and the South African All-Stars. Tell us what the audience can expect.
Dancing, laughing, It's just gonna be just fun, you know. We like to hang out with the audience and just show who we are, the music, how we celebrate. And of course, we're going to be joined by the young kids from school. And I can't remember the name of the school. Who's going to be joining us to play a couple of songs with us on stage? Because this
Yeah,
is
the
always
Memphis
something
Jazz
that,
Workshop. My understanding is you're going to be joined by the
yes,
Memphis Jazz Workshop.
yes, that's correct. Yes, yes.
That's great. And let me ask you, so, you know, if people, how would you describe the music that is going to be displayed? You know, people know Paul Simon, but what's your music?
My music, you know, I'm a solo bassist on my own rights. You know, I write my own songs, and some of the musicians that I'm going to be playing with them, they have their own songs. So the music, it's South African music, maybe the music that people never heard before, but it's going to be very entertaining. And then we're mixing it up also with like jazz, South African jazz, and you know some smooth jazz, and I do some crazy bass stuff, and it's really hard to describe, but they should come for fun. It's going to be fun. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, listen,
It's
but
going to be
Keithy,
amazing.
we really appreciate you coming on the Action News 5 digital desk and talking about the concert that's happening March 14th. But Keithy Khumalo and the South African All-Stars at the Halloran Center right around the corner. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations on such a successful career and everything that you've been able to accomplish. And we look forward to seeing you March 14th, downtown Memphis. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Action News 5 digital desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. It is 9:01 on a Wednesday, taking a live look outside from our High 5 camera downtown Memphis. A very comfortable 66 degrees as you get going on this Wednesday morning. We'll be talking about the forecast throughout the morning here on Action News 5's digital desk. But first, I want to get to an interview that we are going to have right now. This is about the leadership and the direction of Memphis Public Libraries. Joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk, I am joined by Dr. Eric Harris. He has been appointed by Memphis Mayor Paul Young to be the next director of Memphis Public Libraries, and he is joining us on the digital desk to talk a little bit about that position, who he is, and the vision for the public libraries in the city of Memphis. Eric, it's nice to meet you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and our audience that we have. We have thousands of people who watch each and every morning. Tell us about yourself. Good morning.
Right. Hey, good morning to you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I am Dr. Eric Harris. I'm a lifelong Memphian. I've put a lot of time here in this city. Only lived away when I went to college, and that was undergrad. So I'm really tickled to death to have the opportunity here to continue what it is that I've always wanted to do, and that is, you know, help the literacy deficits, help the deficits of people knowing what really a Memphian is. We want to help the school system. We want to help everyone. So the library has a lot of opportunity to do that. Sorry.
Gotcha. So you've been appointed. Have you started working, or is this something that you have to wait for the Memphis City Council to formally approve? How's that work?
Actually, yeah, the council, they approved it on February the 22nd. I am here in my office now. I've been working diligently since then. It's been a grind because there is a lot of work to do here. The previous director, Keenan McCloy, she left a lot of things, a lot of great projects that have to be overseen. So it's been really, really fun. The people in the library have been great. Everyone's very passionate. You don't have to worry about motivation whatsoever. And I've absolutely enjoyed every moment I've been here.
So tell me about your vision for the Memphis Public Libraries. Where do you see it going? Where would you like to see it going? Do you have any personal goals and objectives that you would like to see the library, and short-term, long-term goals, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's the great thing about this position that I'm in now. The library is such a great, well-oiled machine. People may not know that just a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, the library won the national award as the most innovative library in the country. So there was a lot of things already in place. There's a lot of capital improvement projects. We've got new libraries coming online. There's one in Fraser, one in Raleigh, soon Southwest Twin is coming up. So it's a matter of continuing that work, but then also taking the library to the next level. Because even though we had over 200,000 items that were checked out of libraries last year, we had about 25,000 people that participated in library programs. There's still some work that could be done, and there are still some demographics that could be improved. For example, our Mayor Paul Young and also our Superintendent Rod Richmond both point at teenagers saying, hey, we need to give you more things to do after school. Well, it's ironic that that is the one demographic in the library system that the numbers are also a little bit lower than what would be optimal. So we want to, again, continue that work and take everything to the next level.
Let me ask you about that, Eric, because, if you think about the library over the last, 10, 20, maybe even longer than that, the library has really undergone a transformation digitally. I mean, gone are, the decimal Dewey system, I think it's called. It's so far
Dewey
away.
Decimal.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dewey Decimal.
And so here we are, we're in a digital age where a lot of people just log into their own prospective libraries to either check out books online, do a lot of things digitally. How is that going to change and transform the library for the next generation of kids?
That's one thing I have to give credit to my predecessor, Keena McCoy. She really saw that coming. So she implemented a lot of community outreach pieces, a lot of digital pieces. The library has a great app called Libby where you can access over 50,000 ebooks and e-audio books there. You can get your library card online now. A lot of the programs are available online, and that's all credit to Keenan for doing that. So it's a matter of basically having that to step up to the next level, because as broadband gets faster, we have to be able to keep up with that. And be able to provide all the programming and all the type of needs and resources that people will want. So basically, it's a matter of keeping up with the times for the library.
So let's say 10 years from now, where would you like to see the library?
Oh, wow. The way it's going in the digital age, libraries may be floating and hovering over the ground or something, who knows? But I just like to see the library being a common place for every single home in the Memphis area, to where if there's a need, that people go to the library first. If there's some advice or some sort of resources that's needed, people know how to get it through the library. Because one thing that the library is really good at is facilitating people. We have a Link 211 service, which is really, really great. People can call and get information on absolutely anything. For example, during the ice storm, I don't know if the media has come up with a cute name for the ice storm that we had. I haven't heard it. But during that storm, there were a lot of people that called Link 211 because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what the weather was. They had to go get a dialysis treatment and they didn't have transportation. Link 211 was able to connect them with MATA or the police or anyone that they would absolutely need. And I was really, really pleased to hear that mechanism being in place. So I just want the library to continue to grow and be a part of every family.
Final question before we let you go, Eric. There's a lot. I'll just bring up the fact that teenagers, everybody has a smartphone device, and a lot of them will go to, the AI of their choice to look up anything that you would have to go to a library in generations past in order to look up. And so everything seems to be on the phone. How do you connect and have that relevancy to today's kids?
Yeah, thank you for that question. AI is here. It's nothing that can be avoided. You have to understand your organization and how to best implement it. AI is really good for connecting the person with the resource really fast. So having a mechanism like that is great. But what people have to remember is AI is really good at spitting facts and information, but AI cannot tell stories. It can't trigger sentiments and emotions that you would get from reading a good book or talking to someone who's very passionate about something. So those are the things that AI does not have. Whether it'll have it, 10, 20 years from now, who knows? But those are the things that the library is able to provide through our human services. So We're fine with AI connecting it to a resource that we have, but if people really want to get the lowdown on it, they're going to have to talk to one of our fabulous librarians.
Okay, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon. You got Action News 5 midday coming up at the top of the hour with Jerry Askin. He'll take you through the top stories of the morning and your forecast for not only the next 24 hours, which should be pretty eventful, but also for the next 7 to 10 days. And then join me again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for another edition of the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We will see you then.